AI content that's being generated. It's very generic. Expecting it to do math is like expecting a vacuum cleaner to do your laundry. A lot of us might not want to hear this, but IQ is going to be a thing of the past. I think that's what's going to happen is AI is going to do all the work. AI is really bad at math. Today's session is basically, I'm going to focus on enhancing AI interactions and streamlining content. I said this last time and I will keep saying this. I believe artificial intelligence will easily be the biggest conversation of our lifetime. And it's really important for us to be part of any conversation. We need to be informed. So take all this and understand how it works and understand how important we are to this artificial intelligence conversation. We're going to talk about RAG, which is how to use your own data. I'll teach you. A bunch of tricks, which is how to reduce overwhelm. Actually, that's the first thing we'll start with. I'm going to show you how to use custom instructions with ChatGPT.
Hey, it's Ronsley. Welcome, you AI geek, to Amplify AI. Consider this podcast your digital compass for you, the business leader wanting to use artificial intelligence ethically and in alignment with your brand's identity to achieve your business goals. Leading and running a business in the world of AI is like solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. But this podcast and I are here to make that easy. Every episode is a masterclass in unlocking techniques for using AI as a business leader, founder, owner. Thanks for being here. Let's learn.
A lot of us might not want to hear this, but IQ is going to be a thing of the past because IQ can be delegated now. The highest IQ is an AI right now. But EQ is something that we're still learning ourselves. So it's super difficult to be able to tell AI what it's like to have EQ. Today, we're going to talk about RAG, which is how to use your own data, which is a technique which I'll teach you. A bunch of tricks, which is how to reduce overwhelm. Actually, that's the first thing we'll start with. I'll show you this really cool method on how to reduce overwhelm, especially as a business leader, owner, like you've got a whole bunch of things on and how you can use AI right now. And we'll do that in practice. I'm going to show you how to use custom instructions with ChatGPT, and we'll cover this tactic of writing good content. We'll do voice analysis, writing style, and I'll show you these three tools, which is Perplexity, WriteFlow, and Adobe Podcast Enhancer. Okay. I covered the biggest problems last time. The first one is lack of expertise. AI is moving too fast. So focus on process before you focus on tools. The second is the cost to implement. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about time and energy and effort. The cost to implement that is not showing in the growth in revenue and audience and operations and brand. And finally, one of the things that I'm seeing a lot or I'm hearing a lot is they're not really getting the good results. Like it's very generic AI content that's being generated. I'm going to say to you, that's probably because you're not asking it in the right way. You can get AI to hop on one leg across a swing if you can tell it the right way to implement that. It'll know how to do it. And that's what brings me to the value alignment problem, which is we know that this exists even in any project. It's the difficulty we have in explaining the objective completely and correctly. This happens when we get team on board and we expect the team member to know exactly what we're thinking. This happens when we get a new client on board and we expect the client to know exactly how we're going to deliver the thing we're going to deliver without having an onboarding process, for example. So there's this big gap between us having this idea and completely communicating this idea. So it's called the value alignment problem. And that's the main reason why you don't get what you want out of AI is because you can't express it entirely, completely, and correctly. I'm not going to go through the mistakes. I'm just going to start with this trick. Get your phone and on your phone, open any note app that you can dictate to. Down the bottom, there's a little microphone. You're going to hit the dictation button and you're going to just talk for the next minute. And what you're going to say is, I've got all these things on my mind that I need to be done. What happens? That act in itself that we just did is something that would reduce your overwhelm. Every time you're overwhelmed, anytime you feel like there's too many things happening, I suggest you open a note and just do that. And you put a timer. I'll show you what we're going to do with that. I'm going to say organize this in a logical manner and group it by ease to execute. Then what I'm going to do is I did my short version here and I'm going to copy from my phone and paste it there. Just see what it did, right? First of all, you kind of feel like, okay, this at least is captured and you feel relief. But then all you got to do is say, organize this in a logical manner and group it by ease to execute. And not only do you feel relief, but you know that it's organized and you know exactly what to do next. So the next thing I would do if I were you is, if I could take something off this list to feel productive, what's the easiest thing to do? So like genuinely have this question, simple, right? Just see. So now I don't have to worry about the whole thing on my list. I just have to worry about this one task. So this is a really cool way that I have been using AI to really reduce overwhelm and help me make sense of all the things that go on in my head, because a lot of the times it's only because I'm trying to keep track of them. That's the trick. The next thing I want to show you is how to do a voice analysis. Now, all of you right now have got a little sort of section here that you've spoken into, right? So you've got your voice here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. I'm going to start a new chat and I'm going to say, please analyze this text for my voice style so that I can replicate. And then I'm going to go use this for your analysis. So this is just literally what I just spoke, but it could be an article that you wrote that is really amazing, that you really like how it sounds. It could be a podcast. It could be a 5-minute segment where you're on a soapbox and you're talking about something you really care about. You can use that. But what it'll do is it'll kind of give me my style and my voice style and my analysis of how I say things. So now I can say, can you use my voice style to write an article on supercomputers? So now what it's done is it's used what I just said. It's broken down my sentence structure, my voice style, and then I've used that voice style to write my next piece of content. And you see why it's given bullet points, because I've given the thing to analyze is a to-do list. I think that's what's going to happen is AI is going to do all the work and our job now is going to be just, can we have enough courage to do the other things? I think it would also help us delegate better, because if we can delegate to AI better and give it better instructions, then we're going to get better at delegating to people and give them better instructions. The next thing is to do writing style. Now, writing style is like another thing that really helps. So voice style is how you speak and writing style is how you write. Now, I've written myself, which is actually useful because I can then use that. It's better to use your writing style because a lot of us do not speak like we write and we do not write like we speak. So if we wrote the way we spoke, it would really sound bad. Use your writing to analyze your writing style. So I'm just going to put that in quotes here. I have a whole bunch of prompts, obviously, that I use, but I use one here in particular to analyze writing style. And I want to give full credit to Amy Yamada because that's who I learned this particular one from. And so I'm going to say, analyze my writing style, use this text that I just copied and pasted to analyze it for me. Now, what I wanted to do is that tell me what my vocabulary is, my style, my tone, my grammar, what kind of content patterns I have. This is something that I do a lot, actually. I do use examples and metaphors and anecdotes in the way I speak in general. If you didn't hear in the last session, I was talking about how people are saying that, ChatGPT is really bad or AI is really bad at math and it doesn't do math correctly. It's not supposed to do math correctly. It's not a calculator. Expecting it to do math is like expecting a vacuum cleaner to do your laundry. It's not meant to do it. So expecting that to happen is not right. Now I know my voice style or my writing style, okay? So what I will say is use my writing style and write me an article on supercomputers. It'll write an entirely different type of article to what I asked it before, because the first one I asked it for, I used a to-do list to analyze my voice style. And when it wrote the article, it was very much in a to-do list form. So this is the last article on superconductors, how it analyzed my speaking style and gave it in very dot point format. And this is my writing style. And you can see how different that is. And you see how it's used an analogy at the start. Imagine having access to a machine that can process data at lightning speed, solve complex problems in seconds, and open doors to scientific discoveries that were previously unimaginable. That is an analogy right there. You see how it's actually used my voice style and written that. So that's how you would achieve the same thing, is analyze your voice style and then ask it to do whatever you want it to do from a content. So on the same trend, the thing that I want to show you is custom instructions. I touched on this ever so slightly, that if you come to your ChatGPT up the top here, where you see your profile picture and you click on that, and you come down to customize ChatGPT, you'll see these custom instruction settings here. I'm going to show you this template, but I'll tell you what each of the boxes mean and why they're really important. In the first box, you're saying, this is who I am and this is what I care about. This is my experience and this is how I see the world. So this is what you need to know about me before you start doing anything to help me achieve my goals. That's the first box. The second box is, now that you know who I am, I want you to respond to me only in this manner. So here I'm saying, okay, first of all, address me as Ronsley and always include two to three potential follow-up questions in every response. But I'm also giving it words to avoid, which actually I should put that in these parameters. So I'm encapsulating the words to avoid. And then I'm saying, follow these instructions. You don't have to have all those fields in place. So for example, if you don't have any preferences, you can remove that. If you don't want to have any learning style, you can remove that. So just whatever you want to include. And the first section up there will go in this first box, and it'll be like, okay, this is who I am. This is my current projects. These are my interests. These are my values and principles. Like, I really care that AI knows what my values and principles are and what my goals are. So whatever I'm asking of it, I want it to know that I'm trying to get closer to those goals. Okay, so the first set of things go up here, the second goes here. And you save that, and then it'll write in your voice style if you give those instructions in there. So there are two important numbers to know, okay, in this whole equation of large language models. And the first number is a training data size, the data that it's been trained on. That's why they say GPT-4 is smarter than GPT 3.5. It's not because the model number is different. It's because GPT-4 is trained on a larger data size. That's why it takes a longer time for it to process or inference than GPT 3.5. Okay, so that's the first number to know, is the training data. That's how smart a model is. The second number to know is the context size that it remembers when it executes any prompt. So that's like a short-term memory versus long-term memory. Think of those two numbers as that. So if, for example, your GPT has a very short, a small context window, so it doesn't remember everything. So if you put a book in there, it might forget the first part of the book and only remember the second part of the book to give you a response. So when it comes to certain things, there are certain AIs that do different things. And last time I showed 3 different types of AI, like ChatGPT, Claude, and Grok, and they do different things and they need to be used differently depending on what you want to use it for. So I wrote this article on superconductors, right? And I said, use my writing style and write me an article on supercomputers. So what if I say, can you please rewrite this article and a business owner to understand the role supercomputers will play in business operations in the future? Think this through step by step and give me your reasoning. Notice how I am asking for the same article, but I'm giving it better instructions. I'm going to give you a step-by-step approach to rewriting the article. First, I'm going to identify the key point, which it did. Then it's going to reframe the key points for the business audience, which it did. Then it's going to structure the article, which it did. And then it's going to write the article. So just notice how this prompt wrote the article, and how this prompt did some thinking before it wrote the article. And now you can now see whether the thinking has been applied to the article. It totally has. That is like something that you can totally use to write content. Retrieval augmented generation. So you're going to say, for example, upload from my computer. I am giving it, this is a retrieval, this is called RAG, retrieval augmented generation. I'm asking it to retrieve this data, and I'm saying, read this transcript and think this through step by step and give me your reasoning. What I'm saying to it is use this, retrieve the data from here, use the transcript, understand my voice style, and then write the article, which again, it did. So that's a technique for you to learn. A bunch of tools for you to check out. Definitely go and check out Perplexity AI, because it is search and AI together. For example, can you please browse the internet and give me an accurate depiction of OpenAI's new model? And so it's gone, and you can see the sources. So you can see it's gone through 20 sources, and it'll label it. And based on the search, it'll do some great intelligence and pros and cons of each model and when to use them. So Perplexity AI is definitely something that you should check out. This is one I'm really proud of, because I wrote this, and it's all this code. It's about 3,000 lines of code. And I've been actually selling this for, I don't know, maybe about 18 months now. It is AI for Google Docs. So it creates this new menu here, and it'll do anything from ideation to content, SEO, social, podcasting. So I gave it this input. I run a coaching and training program for business owners who want to use AI ethically to grow revenue, brand, audience, and operations. And I went into Write Flow and I said, do me a book outline, but maybe I can go here and say, do me an empathy map. But while it's running that script, I'll show you what it did with the book outline. So it took that and kind of wrote a title for me. Then it wrote 15 chapters on that title. And then it wrote an introduction in my voice, because it kind of said, see how this is actually in my voice. Like, let's face it, the business landscape is changing rapidly. And like it or not, AI is at the forefront of this transformation. That's exactly how I would say something like that. And then it's done that. But just now, what I did was I said, do this empathy map, right? So I'm giving it this input. I run a coaching and training program for business owners who want to use AI ethically to grow revenue, brand, audience, and operations for their business. And then it did an empathy map here, which is like, who is the user? This is the user. These are their goals. They're looking for, they want to harness AI and the power of AI to do it in a way that aligns with their ethical values. The objective is this. Their thoughts are this. This is how they feel. This is what they see. This is what they hear. This is what they say, do. These are their pains, fears, gains. So this gives me a super valuable insight into my audience. And like that, there's other things that can be inside Write Flow. The other one I want to show you is, if you're a podcaster or create content in any form, podcast.adobe.com/enhance has this great tool that I recommend. It doesn't edit your podcast, but it will make it sound better.
Go find that on all your favorite podcast platforms.
So you see how that voice is so tinny initially, and then I put it through that.
But Jordan Wilson has a great show called Everyday AI, and we talk about what it's like.
And then it gives it more of a studio sound, and it removes all background noise and that kind of stuff. So those are some tools that you should check out for sure. So Perplexity, Write Flow, Adobe Podcast Enhancer. Again, the 6-week intensive is basically for business leaders, business owners. So you've got to be actually having clients and to use and care about a transformation. If that's where you're at and you want to learn to use AI to do lots of revenue things, to get revenue quickly, but also save time to do lots of operational things, I'm going to cover all that in the 6 weeks. And I'm going to do that for your business. So if you have certain elements in your business, that's a process that you follow, we're going to apply AI to that so that you can make that more efficient. Thanks, team.
Hey, AI Geek. Thanks for listening. Your job doesn't stop here. I want you to lend your voice to the conversation. So you can join those conversations, discussions, new trainings, new recordings, and the rest of the AI Geeks by going to aigeeks.co. Also, share this podcast with a friend, another potential AI geek. Until Until then, much love. What's up, everyone? It's Ronsley, and I have recorded this amazing video on all my AI secrets. So if you want to learn and you're just getting started, this is not if you're already a professional and can design super prompts and do really amazing things with prompt engineering and custom GPTs. This is for someone who is a business owner and wants to learn how to augment their intelligence with artificial intelligence, how to save a whole bunch of time, the right tools to use, some cool techniques. There's some tips, tricks, and some ideas in here that you definitely have to understand. I promise you, you're going to get so much value from this. For more information, and if you want the full video, AI Secrets is the tag. So amplifyais.com/AI Secrets is your link. Check out the video, and I'll talk to you soon. Actually, add this fill somewhere. When you're going through the video and you find something useful, make a note of that, and please let the ambulance pass. If you're watching the video and you find something really useful and you're going to implement it, I'd love to know what that is. Send me a message, send me an email, send me a comment, a DM, or even a smoke signal. I'd love to know what you're using and what works for you and what you got out of this video. Much love.